Okay, so today we're going to be doing the Godfather theme song. Very, very interesting theme song to do. We're going to break this down into 3 lessons, 3 parts because it's quite long, and we have a lot of techniques to learn. And the most important technique we're going to learn today is, or in this range of the Godfather theme song, is going to be feelings or emotions. That's the most important thing. The song is super slow, and that's what makes it easy. But it's all about emoting your notes. You can't just play like a robot. You know, you have to emote your notes. Watch famous guitarists like Slash play it, for example, or just about anybody, any professional guitarist. I'm just going to talk about Slash because that's one of the most popular versions out there. But don't worry, I'm not going to complicate it and give you the exact same notes as he plays. I'm going to make it a very beginner level lesson for you. So keep in mind, today we're going to be learning a lot of techniques, and we're going to learn how to implement these techniques to make your guitar sing, so to speak. All right, we don't want it to just sound like a machine playing it, like no, we don't want that to happen. We want it to sound smoother and much better like this. All right, and that's just an example. That's going to happen in part 2. We have to learn the introduction in the first place. Now the introduction, let's get straight into it. All right, so as you might have seen in the previous videos, we did the Pink Panther theme on the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th frets, the Mission Impossible on the 7th, 8th and 9th frets, and today we're going to be considering the 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th frets. And we're also going to go back a bit, all right? So we're going to cover quite a good range of frets on the fretboard today. Okay, so for today's class, let's do the intro. Now, what does the intro sound like? It's like this. I'm going to play it for you. That's what we're going to be doing today, okay? So if you're not very familiar with this bit, try listening to the original theme song or Slash's version. Obviously, Slash improvises a lot before he actually gets into this, okay? So don't worry about that bit. So listen to the song, get this in your mind, because most people actually are very familiar with the next part, which is... But let's try to do the whole song properly. Let's do the intro, the verse, and then we'll do the second half of the verse as well, okay? So that's why the 3 lessons. So I'm also going to give you a backing track on the same scale, so you can play this same song with the backing track, which sounds super cool. I'll send you a video of that as well, okay? So let's get on to our introduction of the song. If you want, pause this video and we will get back into it, or you can resume the video once again after listening to the Godfather theme song, the intro bit for today, okay? So listen to the intro bit, familiarize yourself with it, and then start to play it, because if the song is in your mind, you will learn faster, okay? Now, all we're going to do is we're going to be playing the A note on the B string. Now that's the octave, right? So that's the B, so this is the A note, all right? So now if you notice, whenever I pause or whenever I stick to one note, I basically do this. Now what is this? You might have seen guitarists just go like... Now it's not done just for the looks of it. It actually serves a purpose. This is called modulation. It's like a singer when he or she holds on to a note. They don't just go like straight off on a straight pitch like that. They try to emote, they try to have some modulation in their singing. That's exactly what we're going to be doing on the guitar. So instead of just playing, which is okay, you go kind of go like. Can you make out the difference? Let's try another note. As opposed to. Can you make out the pitch difference? Now, how do you do modulation? So, modulation is, think of the string as being on a neutral level, okay? So, we discussed this earlier in previous lessons as well, if you remember. So, the string is on a neutral level. Modulation is when you bend the string up, neutral, up, neutral, up, neutral, or down, neutral, down, neutral, down, neutral. Be careful not to go up and down past the neutral point, because that's going to backfire on you. Alright, so it looks like I'm just going up and down beyond the neutral position, but it's either up neutral, or down neutral, down neutral. Okay, so you normally do modulation when there's a pause in a song, just to make it interesting. You can't use it at every point of time, especially if you're playing fast or if you're playing a couple of notes together. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start on the A note on the B string. Now you see we're playing the G sharp, A and A sharp quite quickly, so there's no time to modulate. But since you're going to end on the A sharp here, you are going to modulate, because there's time to modulate, there's a pause there. So the notes are A on the B string, modulate. You can probably put a slash next to A, so you know you have to modulate. So keep that as a symbol, a slash like that, okay? So we have the A, G sharp, A sharp. It's all semitones, isn't it? And you're going to modulate on the A sharp a bit as well. That is the A twice. Now you're playing the A twice, and then you're playing the F note immediately after. Okay, so you don't have time to modulate with those two A's. You're modulating the F because you're pausing on the F. Okay. Okay, so that's the first bit of it. Now, just for you to get the notes right, forget about the modulation for now and just go like this. Okay, just get the notes right. On the B string, we're playing the A, G sharp, A sharp, A. Then on the G string is the F note. Okay. So once again, don't go by frets, as we've learned before. You don't want to be misguided, and you don't want to go by fret numbers. Learn the alphabets, because the music is about notes, about letters, not about numbers, as you know, right? So keep in mind what notes I'm giving you. Note it down so you can always refer to it when you need to play it, okay? So once again, the first bit. Second part. It's exactly the same as the first part. The only difference is that you're playing the E note on the G string instead of the F. It's exactly the same, okay? So you play the E the first time, and now the second time. Sorry about that. Next. Oops. Next part is the A note again. Now that's exactly the same as the previous two times. So you're playing the A, modulate, G sharp, A Now you need to go to the C beyond the octave. You know that's the B, that's the C. So I like to slide onto the C, so it sounds really cool. See, it sounds pretty cool. So when you slide, again, as we have learned previously, keep your finger pressed down, do not release all the way there, okay? So slide. You don't want to get that sound. You want it to sound like this. You want to go quickly and stop right at the precise point, which is the C note from the A. Okay? Or if you don't want to slide, if you want to make it more simple, just go. Okay? Now I'm going to give you another option for the C in case that's a bit of a stretch and it's a bit difficult for you. Play this C right here on the E string. Okay? But if you want it to sound nice and you want to actually slide, which is really interesting, just go. When you come back to the A note, back to the G sharp, now is an important technique. Now we are going to go in for a bend. Now what is a bend? A bend is basically pushing your pitch up, okay? So even though I'm playing the A note here, I'm going to bend it. So I'm actually bending it straight to the B. Can you make out the tone, the similarity? See, it sounds exactly the same. So bending is a technique that kind of smoothens out your guitar playing and it sounds really nice. So oops. So you go up, bend from the A up, and you come back down slowly. So now, just like your slides and just like your modulation, as you know, you should never release that note, keep it pressed. Same with the bend. As you go up, keep it pressed constantly and come down with it being pressed on the fretboard. Even if you release it a bit, you'll get into the buzzing and muting phase, which you don't, as you know, it's mistakes. Don't get into that phase. Keep it pressed down continually. Now, as you can see, I'm using my second finger here, but I'm using my first finger as well, just to support the second finger, because it's not very easy to just bend up like that. So I'm using my first finger and my second finger to bend up, to give me strength, okay? So you don't want to just go like, you don't want that. See, it doesn't sound right. You have to go high enough to get that sound. If that is difficult for you, just slide to the B. That's essentially what I'm doing. I'm playing the A, B, A in a bend version. So A, B, A. Okay? So again, if you find it difficult, just go, for now, just go slide from the A to the B and come back to the A. It's the same thing, okay? But the bend sounds a bit cooler. So just go. Alright? Okay. Now if you feel like your fingers are grabbing onto other strings, like your nail grabbing onto the G string and pulling it on, which is a mistake that a lot of students face, just remember to angle your nail down so it goes under the string instead of over the string. So like this. So you push the other strings up as well. Oops, sorry. So right now the nail of my second finger is pushing the next string up as well. So when I release it, the nail doesn't get caught onto that string. It doesn't go like that. Okay? So So we have the A, bend, okay? Maybe you can just write a little B next to the A, not like a flat. You can probably put a B in the bracket, or you can just write bend, okay? Because I don't want you to confuse that for A flat, which is also like a little B, right? So just write A and bend next to it. So your A, you're bending up, and you're coming back down as well. So you have to hear the A, you have to hear the B as you go up, and you have to hear the A as you come down again. So strum a little harder. Now the next note is, now you've landed back onto the A, so strum the A again. Then the G sharp, then on the G string, F, E. So it's a little box here. Okay. Quick modulation on the E note on the G string. Go back to the D, E again, F again. Now you're going back to that little box that we made earlier. G sharp on the B string and the A, and that concludes the introduction. Okay, so let's try it again. So the introduction is this. So again, once again, feel free to pause the video as much as you want. Okay, keep in mind techniques are very important, and note down every note. I'm going to play all the notes of the introduction for you once again, and then I'll play it slowly and I'll voice out the notes for you. Okay. Now if you notice, I actually slid forward instead of going like I went, just to give it more of a feeling. Okay. In fact, even if you want to play even if you find the A note, the first note, if you find it quite dead, if you want to make it more interesting, that's a better way of putting it. If you want to make it more interesting, you can slide on from the G to the A. You see how that sounds much better? So that's another way of making it more interesting. Just slide down. You know, that E, the F note that you play on the G string. After the modulation, you just slide down. And the trick about this, especially the introduction part, is that you can play it as slow as you want. And the slower you play it with more feelings and modulations, the more professional you look. So it's kind of an illusion, but you have to use your modulation and your slides and all these tricks and the bends and all that for you to look professional. So while playing it slowly, okay? So once again, I'll play the whole thing for you. So now the notes. A, modulate. G sharp, A sharp. A. All that was in the B string, by the way. Now you shift to the G string. F note. Again, the same thing. A on the B string. G sharp, A sharp. A. Now you play the E note on the G string, okay? Then on the B string once again, A, G sharp, A, slide to the C, or you can just go to that C on the E string. Then you come back to the A, G sharp, now you have to bend up on the A, okay? Then you play the A again, A, G sharp, F on the G string, E on the G string, D, E, F. What do you have next? Is the G sharp on the B string. But since you're in that sort of a position, you play D, E, F, and you can just go down with the last two fingers. Play the G sharp and the A with the last two fingers. Maybe that might be better for you. Okay, that's the end of the introduction. So keep that in mind. You can play slow, but use your modulations, use your bends, use all these techniques, use slides, and you'll sound absolutely amazing and like a total pro while playing slow. So that's really cool. Okay. Now for the next part, we're going to be doing the main part of the Godfather theme song, the part that's always recognized everywhere you go. Okay. So that's it, and let me know if you have any questions once again. Okay.